Hello, we're here today with Danielle from Wise Capital Partners. And today we're going to be uncovering Danielle's why, how, and what. Hi, Danielle.
Hi, how are you?
Awesome, awesome. So, Danielle, would you like to share with everybody your why, your how, and your what?
Well, my why is right way, my how is mastering, and my
Hmm.
what is make sense.
Awesome. So, what does your why mean to you?
Well, my why means to me that I like to do things in a way that gets results. I
Hmm.
want to make sure we get the correct results, I should say. I want to make sure we get the correct results, what we're looking for. So
Hmm.
basically, my right way, my why, has me going from the answer almost to like the question. What questions should I be asking? Should I be asking this question, this question, this question, and this question to get me to this answer?
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Awesome.
that's what my why is. And that's how I try to approach things.
And have you used or implemented your why? Because I know we've shared this with you a couple of weeks ago, but have you been able to use that and implement your why within the business?
Well, for my particular position in the business, my why is very important because we are with a broker dealer, we have regulations that we have to follow. So
Hmm.
my
Hmm.
why almost is the process that we would follow, is to create that process to make sure that we cover all of the regulations and still get what we need to be done for the client done.
Hmm. Hmm. So it's really, really important to be doing things the right way within compliance, correct?
Correct.
There's a right way and a wrong way, and yours is always the right way, right?
It always is.
But also with your how being mastery, right? So how is how you do the work. You're somebody that literally knows every step, every movement within the process. You've mastered that, correct?
Right. That's pretty much why it's important in my position is that you need to know what you need before you can actually go to where you want to get to the end. So I
Right.
have to master a process in order to be able to complete something, you know.
Hmm.
So and as it changes, you make little tweaks here and there, but
Right.
it still has a base process.
Okay. Okay. So having in your world doing things the right way and mastering it, because it is pretty complex, right? It is. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of dotted I's and crossing T's in compliance and finance in the finance world. Literally, your why and your how is perfect for the role that you're doing, correct?
Right. It is.
Right. Awesome. And then your what is makes sense, making sense of the complex, right? So you've got lots of things, right? So again, in the finance world, there's lots of things that come at you, and what you deliver, your promise to the world, is making sense of all of that, correct, for your clients.
Right. To make sense of something that may look extremely complicated, just to make it so that they can understand, hey, this is what the process is. And not give
Yeah.
them all 15 steps of the process, just say, this is what it
All right. Give them one of the two. Sign this document
is.
here, and this is why you need to
Right.
sign it, right?
Right.
Fantastic. So realistically, when we look at the why, the how, and the what for Danielle and the role that you're running, this makes complete sense for you.
Yes. For me, in
Awesome.
the position I'm in, it makes complete sense.
Okay. When you're not, so there's going to be days in which you're not following the right way, mastery makes sense. Does that have a negative impact on you?
It does because it leads to a little bit of confusion
Hmm.
because I'm not following the process. It's like I'm doing step 3 before step 2, and then I go
Right.
back to step 2, and then I jump to step 4. So it creates a little bit of confusion. And
Right.
then when you're trying to do multiple items at one time, it creates inefficiency
Right.
because you can't do multiple items at one time if you're doing each one at a different stage in the process and you're skipping steps or you're skipping
Mm,
around steps.
right, right. Is also emotionally draining, right? If you're not in your zone, if you're not in the space that you excel in, it's emotionally as well as physically draining, right?
Yeah, it's emotionally draining because you're always trying to figure out where am I? Where am I? Where am I? Where am
Mm,
I?
mm-hmm.
So
But
emotionally, yes. Physically, yeah, that comes with it too. In any position, you have physical drainage, as I
yeah,
say it, when you do any position because you're working all day and you're mentally working your brain, your body, you're doing all of that. So the
yeah,
physical part not is not so much doesn't affect me as much as the mental portion
is
of
the
it.
mental side, yeah. But
Yes.
when you're in the space where you're running the right way, you're doing things the right way, you're mastering, you've mastered your craft, and you're making sense, those are great days, right? They're not as taxing.
Those are awesome days because I feel like I've actually accomplished something. On the days when I'm not in that zone, it's like, what did I do today? I mean, it's like I know I did stuff, but what
Right.
what did I do?
What did I do? Why did I do it?
Yeah, exactly. And was I supposed to do
Yeah.
it?
Now I know the whole team has used this why. How have you found that with regards to the team and communicating within the team? Has this been of any help?
It has, but it's still a work in progress because
Okay,
for
good.
my why, how, and what, one
Hmm.
of my things that I have to be aware of is that I may fall into that rigid state where I'm like, it's
Okay.
just got to be this way, this way, this way, this way, this way all the time. And that may not be feasible for what we're doing.
Hmm.
So I have to remember that
Hmm.
when I'm doing that.
Hmm.
Now, I also have to remember my coworkers have their own why, how, and what.
Hmm. Hmm.
And sometimes we will clash
Yeah.
because as an example, I have a coworker who is the exact opposite. Her why, how, and what are the exact opposites of mine.
Okay.
So she's going to where I've already been
Right.
in the opposite direction.
Uh-huh.
So sometimes that causes a little clash,
Hmm.
because we're working at different ends of the spectrum.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I'm trying to be cognizant of the fact that she's going to where I've already went. So I need to
Hmm.
actually go back and go through
Okay.
the steps with her. And
Right.
then also one of the things that was in the handouts that I was given once I took it, it said to listen first,
Hmm. Hmm.
and then ask if you want help with it. Or if you're
Okay.
asked a direct question, then you answer.
Okay.
But sometimes that still creates clashing within the two different areas, but you just have to
Hmm.
be aware of it to make sure
Good.
that, this is where she's trying to go. You've
Hmm.
already been there,
Hmm.
I mean, you mentioned it to one of it when we went through it was that, I process information really fast.
Yes.
You're on step 1 and I'm on step 5.
Right.
So I have to realize, okay, they're not at step 5 yet. So I'm like, okay, they're at step 1. And then they go through it and they're like, okay, they're at step 1. And this is what I'm saying to myself in my head. They're at step 1. Now they're at step 2. Now they're at 3. Now they're at 4. And now they're at 5 where you are. Is
Right.
there still any questions or anything that you have that may be able to help with this?
Awesome.
So
Fantastic.
I'm trying to work on that even more so now that I understand, my coworkers.
Yeah, but understanding them is half the battle, right? So understanding them, being able to understand where they are, how they process information, as well as how you process information, who you are, right?
Exactly.
So understanding those different perspectives is massive. A lot of people don't understand those, right? They're clashing for clashing reasons. No, you understand them because you understand their why, the how, and the what. So if you can understand each other, it's easier for you to understand and therefore communicate. And yes, it's a work in progress, right?
It's always a work in progress.
Always a work in process. Fantastic. So, question: would you recommend the why to anybody else, and why? Why would you recommend it if you would recommend it?
Well, I would recommend it because for yourself, to get clarity for yourself. Okay. A
Hmm.
lot of this information that was given to me once I took it, I was like, ooh, that is me. I was like, oh, I wasn't aware of that.
Hmm.
So I'm like, okay, now I know and I understand this is why I do this. This is what leads me or drives me. And one
Hmm.
of the things that we had in the conversation was like, are you going for a Volkswagen or a Ferrari? And I'm like, okay, I understand that part. So I would recommend it so you are aware. I tend to go overboard when I do something, and it's not
Hmm.
necessary. But
Right.
I wasn't aware of that before because I didn't know that that was one of my tendencies. Because nobody
Right.
ever said, oh, you don't need to do all of this.
Hmm.
They
Yeah.
were like, oh, well, she gave it to me, so I have all of it. And they're saying to themselves, oh, she really didn't need to do all of this. But, it was never mentioned to me, oh, you don't need the Volkswagen or the Ferrari. You didn't need to give me a Ferrari when I just asked you for a Volkswagen. So it
Yeah.
helps. It does help. And I
Awesome.
would recommend it.
Fantastic. Is there anything else you would like to share with people around the why that we haven't spoke of yet?
Not really. I think I'm still work in progress. So maybe, in another month or so I might have something else to share. But I'm still working. Still work in progress. I'm still learning myself and my coworkers and their whys and their hows and their whats.
Awesome. So Danielle, thank you for your time today. That's Danielle Shelton with Wise Capital Partners. Her why, right way, how, mastery, and what she brings, her promise to the world is to make sense, and she does that every single day. So thank you, Danielle. We appreciate you. Thank you, and have a fantastic day.
All right, same to you.